I like for you to like share your screen, or I can stop sharing so that you can. You know how to share your screen, right? Okay, so I'll stop sharing so you can share your screen and show me how far you've gone with your assignments. Are you still there? All right. Okay. 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 I can. Oh, sorry. Okay, I can hear you. I can hear you loud and clear. Mm. Okay. All right. Okay. This is nice. This is nice. Okay. 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 All right. So far, this is good. This is good. This is good. Okay. So I noticed that you were not. Let me see. I want to see the link to this page. Can you zoom out a bit? Did you get my? Did you get me? What I want to see, like the URL on the tab. Okay. Let me share my screen and show you what I intend to see. This place, sorry, don't worry, don't cut it out. This place that shows local host or something, or 127 something. I like to see what you named it. On top, the URL. Are you sharing just a particular tab? Okay, you're sharing just a tab. Okay. All right. This is good. This is good. I commend the hard work. I like you really did well. Very, very well. This is impressive. Okay. Okay. Um I'd like to see that of OPay as well. OPay. Okay. Regarding that animation, let me. Oh yeah, you can stop sharing your screen. Let me share mine, so I will run over it. Okay. So let me open my screen that has CUDA. Okay. Okay, so this animation, I actually tried it myself to see if I can achieve it, and this was what I was able to get. Let me see if I can. I think I have it here. Is it in week six? It's not in week six. I have it somewhere here. Okay, I think I have it here. Let me open this index.html. Let me stop sharing this and share this. Alright, so this is what I was able to get, and the one I tried. Though I didn't get this one to start working yet, but I just wanted to see how easy it will be for you guys to, try it when you're doing your own. And I was able to achieve this by doing it this way. This is my this is the CSS, and this is the keyframe that I used. Like in our last class, I said that for you to be able to achieve any animation, you have to give them animation names. So this one is a different animation, and this one is also a different animation. So if we go back to this point, this one I named it keyframe round. This one I said round reverse. And if you notice, I started from 0, 10, 20, 30, 40 to 100, and that's how I was able to get it to move at this point without it jumping. If I reload this page, you might notice something. It seems like at some point some of them jump to an extent, and for it to be very very smooth, the keyframes have to be smaller for you to be able to get this smooth consistency. The keyframes have to be like probably in twos, 2, 4, 6. At 2% you want it to be here, at 4% you want it to be here, and it will take a lot of time to do. So that was why I did this. You can do your own in 5, 10, 15 to in 5 percentiles, right? So I was able to get it to work this smoothly by using the 10 percentiles, and you see it's not even as smooth as this one. So the last one we did in class, I only talked about 25, 50, 75, and 100, but you can use as many percentiles as possible to get your work to be as smooth as possible. And it wasn't this easy. First of all, I had to because most of these things you have to try to guess it out to know where particularly the movement is going to be at. So what I first of all did was, I don't know if I took out this I don't know if I took out this stuff. Let me. Okay. Oh, I took out the CSS. But what I did with these numbers was I basically rounded up these things in from 1 to 10, because I was using the 10 percentile. I was using the 10 percentile. So I wrote 1 will represent 1%, 2 will represent 1 will represent 10%, 2 will represent 2 20%, 3 30%, down to 100, which is 10 at that point. So what I did was, at strategic points I placed those numbers. Probably here is 1, here will be 2, here will be 3, down to 10, and I made sure it was properly and equally spaced using my using right, top, left, and all of that. And that was how I was able to achieve this, because if you start guessing this out on your own without having something to give you pointers as to where each one would go once it's moving, it will be harder. So I was able to do that by, first of all, placing all those numbers at points where I want these movements to touch. At this point are different numbers, these movements are different numbers. The only things that I've taken them out. So you can achieve it doing it this way. You can do it in smaller units, like 2, 4, 6, or even 5, 10, 15, depending on the one that is easy for you. But I was able to achieve this by um using 10%. And if you notice, they are going in opposite directions. So basically what I did was, for the round I used left and bottom, and for the round reverse I just used top and top and right. And at this point I started from 100% to 0%, while in this case I started from 0% to 100%. So it's basically the opposite of the other one. This is the opposite of 100% here, just opposite. And try to fix, I just try to fix a few things, but the difference is not so much. So you can try to do yours that way and see how it goes. I don't know if you would need this, but probably when you're watching this video you can just go through these ones that I did, and then this is how I was able to achieve. These are the images, and then the wrapper itself, and then this. So probably you can, when you're watching the video, this one, you can pause it, go through whichever one you want to go through, and try to get yours to at least work a bit like that. So that is it for this one. Let's get to what we have today. What we have today is actually very, very simple. We just have what we call units of measurement. The last class I sent you, which was a class on responsive CSS, whenever you're building websites, be it an application or a general website, or for any reason, depending on what you want to use it for, most websites are made for different screens. Just like you have your laptop screen, you have your mobile phone screen, you have your tablet screen, you have different screen sizes, and that is what responsiveness does. Let me show you something. If I inspect this, like, let me reduce the size of this thing. You see how small it looks here? Let me put this in a, this is a mobile screen. This is how it will look on mobile, and you see how scattered it is. This is how this stuff will look on mobile screen. It's not looking organized, it's not looking neat, it's not looking fine, it's not looking nice. But if you go back to your browser, it looks relatively okay, because this is a wider screen. So whenever we are writing code or we are developing a project, we consider screen sizes, and it's very, very important. So I'm just going to talk about units of measurement. I believe the video I sent was able to, like, you know cut down those, like, explain it to a very great extent. Did you see the video? Did you go through it?
No, like I haven't finished.
You have not finished. How far have you gone? Just the beginning. That means you didn't go through it, like, almost. You were busy with the CUDA project, or because your system was bad?
My system, because I had to
Okay. You can also view those videos from your mobile phone, but it's good that as you're viewing them, you're also working it out on your system, so that you can see, okay, if he did this and you do it, does it work on your own end? What is the reason why it's working and why is it not working? So you should also have your own part of that video on your system, where you've been able to put down those things, follow his teachings and put down those things on your own. So I'm not going to revisit that. I'll just basically be using it as though you guys have learned it, because I believe the video did justice to that. So if you have any questions after you're done seeing the video, you can refer back to me, ask questions, and I would answer you. So that's basically it. So let's just go to units of measurements that we have for today. So this is week 6. We are supposed to be way, like, further than this. I already created my HTML and CSS, so you can create yours. We're talking about units of measurements. So I'm going to have my asterisks, and I'm going to have basically box sizing, border box, and I'm going to have a font family of um, let's go with this. Okay, so basically this is the I've linked the CSS, and this is the title of what we are doing. And I'm going to have my H1 inside of my container, and it's going to be units of measurement. And I'm going to like load the page again. Okay, so we have units of measurement here, and then the next thing is containers. I'm going to have a box contents. I'm going to have my box child, and then I'm going to say this is going to be my first child. I think I'll have like 6 children here. Okay, this is going to be second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. And here is going to be sixth child. This is going to be fifth child, fourth child, third, all right. So before we continue, I really want to commend you for the amount of effort you put into that Kuda website. I'm really impressed. I've been really angry and pissed that whenever I ask you guys about my assignment, something just happens, and I'm like, is it that you guys are not following my classes? Is that I'm not teaching you well, or you're not learning, or is that I'm too fast, or not explaining very well? And most times when I'm done, I ask if you guys have any questions, and I usually get a no. So most times when I ask for assignments, I ask questions in class, and you guys can't answer. It doesn't really sit well with me. So I would say like kudos to you putting that amount of effort in making that website look like that. It's actually very impressive, and I'm really really impressed. And you're welcome. And the after today's class, you're just basically going to do like some other pages, just like linking the pages. So this is a bit extra. Let me look for something simple. Okay, you're going to add a sign-in page. Let me see how their sign-in page looks like. You're not going to do this. This is basically an image. This is just the sign-in page. This is going to be centered. This is not going to be there. So this is going to be the center. At the center, how you use margins, place it in the center. This is the only thing you're going to put for the sign-in page. Just replicate this. This should not be there. And then join Kuda. This should be the sign up. Okay, this is like another version of the home page. Let me see where. Okay, this is contact us. You can also do this as well. And then we have FAQ. No, let me look for something. Okay, this you can do this as well. So you're basically going to have 3 pages. You're going to have your sign-in page. You're going to link it to the sign-in page. Then you're going to have a contact page and a security page. I believe that that's where I went to right now. This is the security page. So here that we have company, you're just basically going to replace it with, or instead of replacing it, you already know how to add nav drop down, right? You can make a drop down and just add a contact page, a security page. Let me check out this get help and see how it looks like. And you can add this page is pretty much simple. You can just have this. This is an input, this is a search button. It's basic, and this home should take you back to the home page of Kuda and sign up. This one should also take you back to Kuda. So this is basically simple. So you're going to have three pages, which is going to be get help, security, and contact. That's what you're going to do. And then this, your image, when you click here, it should always take you back to your home page. Are you clear? Any questions? No. All right. So that's basically it for the continuation of your project that is going to run from now till next week. I'm not sure we're going to have any class on Friday, so that you guys will have enough time to go through the project and do the extra pages. So I believe you just have um one, one, two, three, right? How many pages? Get help page, security page. There's no okay, there's contact us here. So there's a contact us page here. So you're just going to do it this way. One, two, three, and four. So you have four extra pages to add to your website. And then you can host it on Netlify so that other people can see your work and see how far you've grown with your coding skills. So yeah, let's continue to what we have today. All right. If you notice, some of the pages they open on a new tab. You don't have to do that. They should open on the same tab. To make it open on a new tab, you can add the attribute called target and give it a value of underscore blank. You remember I talked about it before. Do you remember that? You may or may not remember. But if you want it to open on a new tab, you just add that particular place where you have the link. Give it an attribute and of target and give it a value of underscore blank, and then it will open on a new tab. But you don't necessarily have to do that. All of them can open on that same tab, and then you navigate using your nav bar and things like that. So going back to what we have today, okay, I have just barely 29 minutes to go through them. Let me close this because I don't need this anymore. So this is what I have. I'm going to start with percentages. Most of these things are things that we've done before, but very important when you're talking about responsive web behaviors. So I'm going to style this. I'm going to have my container first of all. Container. I'm going to give it a background color of pale green, pale turquoise. Okay, let's use pale turquoise. I'm going to give it a margin of 30 pixels auto. I'm going to give it a what else? Padding of 10 pixels, and that should be it. Okay, I'll give it a width so that you will know where to start placing the margin from. I'll give it a width of 70%. Same would go for box content. V is going to be box content, and then in this case I'm going to say pale violet red, whatever, and then I will give this a width of 90%. And then in here we have the children, but we have the child, so I'm going to style the children. I'm going to say V, and I'm going to say box child, and I'll give this a percentage of 90 and give this a color of, okay, let's use all pale. What would this be? Pale golden rod, whatever. Okay, so if I go back, this is how it looks now. This is how it looks. This is our container. This is our box content that carries all the children. These are all the children that we have. So we're going to start with percentages. Basically, all these things I did are percentages. I said this should take 70% of the entire width from here to here. This should the box content should take 70% of its parent. If I increase this percentage now, I mean 90%, and I say 100%, it will take 100%. This space is because I gave the container a padding of 10 pixels. If I get rid of this padding, you see it has covered the entire screen. So the padding is what is giving it that space right now. So percentages are just very much flexible. They work with the size of the container and the size of the screen. If I check this in a smaller screen, for example, you see how this is 70% of this small screen, and this is taking 70%, 90% or 100% of its parent, and this is taking 90% of its parent. The parent here is the pink one, while the parent of the pink is the blue one, while the parent of the blue one is the browser itself, which is the white background. So that is how it works. So percentages, basically they adjust using the size of the screen, right? So they are not like pixels. Let me say, let me get rid of this and give one of the child. Let me get one of the child. Say that, and I say box child. This child is, let me use the first child. It has another class name of first child, so I would say dot first, which is the class name it has here. So I'll just give it dot first, and then I would give it a width of 300 pixels, and then I'll give it a margin because I don't want the margin to give me issues. So I'll say margin of 10 pixels. You see how it looks now. Let me give it this of 40 pixels, left and right of 40 pixels. Okay, so that it's been on the same line. This is 300 pixels. Let's check how it will look like on our mobile screen. On mobile screen, you see it's still 300 pixels. It does not get smaller. It does not, it's 300 pixels. Whether it's in a big screen, a medium screen, a tablet screen, any kind of screen, pixels are static. They don't change. They are not like percentages that will adjust based on the frame size or the screen size. If I were to check this out on an iPhone, okay, we are in iPhone SE. Let me check Samsung Galaxy S8. Okay, this one is even, the screen size is 360. Let me check Nest Hub. This is basically like a laptop size. So this is still how it looks like. This is 50%. Let me get it to 100%. Okay, you won't be able to see everything. 75. This is how it looks like. So this is like, the size is 1024, and this is the size of a laptop, a basic laptop. This one says Samsung Galaxy S2 Ultra. So it's basically static. It's static. It does not change. It just takes that particular pixel that you give it. So we've talked about percentages and pixels, and that's one we are basically used to, pixels and percentages. But there's one that you may or may not have heard of. It's called view width. So let me in this case use the second child box. No, just let me take this, Command C, V, and then I'll say second, then I'll say width is 20 view width. 20 view width means 20% of the entire width. Let me show you. This view width is like 20%. 20 view width is like 20%. Let me say, let me give this 20%. Okay, the view width is a bit, this one is acting according to the parent container, but view width uses the browser screen, not the parent container. So if I give this a 100 view width, if you move it this way, you see that it moves from this point down to this point. This is the 100 view width. 100% of the browser. It does not concern it how wide the parent is or how small the parent is. The only thing that the parent does for view width is tell it where to start from. In this case, it tells it, okay, start from here, and from here you can start counting 1, 2, 3, 4 to 100 view width. So if you keep scrolling, you see where it gets to 100 view width. If I say 50 view width, that is half of this screen. Let's get it to 50 view width. This is 50, and if I move it this way, okay, this thing cannot be moved because this is already centered, but this is like half of the screen. This 50 view width is like half of this screen. So if I move this thing from this point, you see that it's going to stop somewhere around here. That's what view width does. View width is more, they work with the browser size or the screen size, not necessarily the container. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to demonstrate this in a smaller screen. You see this one, the same thing. You see at this point, it goes from here to here, because at this point, this is the full screen. Let me put it in a mobile screen. This is 412. And if I move from here to here,
It's the
sorry?
sorry. No, it's not.
Alright. So let me get rid of this padding so that we can see. Okay, you can see that now it moves from this point to this point. This is the 100 view width of this. This is 100 view width of this particular second child. So that is it for view width. And let's talk about view height. So let me get rid of this, and we are back to this point. Probably I'll just give this 50 view width. So the next one is view height. So I'm going to use the third child in this case, and I'm going to say third. I'll say height. Okay, and I'm going to say 100 view height. 100 view height is the same thing as starting from this point to this point. So if I go up, you see that at this point, this is where it started from. This is 100 view height. 100 view height from this point to this point. That's a complete height of a browser or a full screen. That's how this one works, the complete height of a full screen. If I say 50 view height, it's going to take 50% or 50 view height. Third child, just going to take 50% of its parent container. So the next one is for font size. Do you have any questions so far? Am I moving too fast? All right.
Short one.
I'm moving too fast. Which one should I explain?
Yeah, the one of the weeks because you can only show like 100%. I don't see like
Okay. All right. Let me go over to this one again. Let me get rid of this one for now. Okay. So second child was one I used for view width, and I said the way you're going to see very well is when I use 100 view width, because this thing can't really move because it's restricted to by the container a bit. So what view width does is that it takes the full width of the browser. The only thing that happens is that the container tells it where it will start from. If this container was not here, this thing will start from here and move all the way to this point. Let me get rid of this container width, all this extra width, box width. Okay, let's see. All right, and the paddings too, I think they are playing a role. The paddings too. Okay, there's another padding. Okay, so I guess it's smaller. No. All right, let me just use it this way. I said if you check, the full 100 view width moves from the edge of this browser to the extreme end of the browser. If you put it this way, that's how it moves like. But okay, this box chart is 90%. Get rid of this. This moves from here to this point. This is 100 view width. If I'm to check this on a smaller screen, this second child is still going to move from this point. This is where it starts from, to this point. From this edge to this edge is view width. From the top of this point to this point is view height. So view height works with the browser, the screen size. Do you get me? It does not work with the container size. It works with screen size and browser size. So if it's in a smaller screen and you say view height, it will take, or view width rather, it will take the full width regardless of the size of its container. If the container, I mean by container I mean the parent, the pink one carrying it, has probably a width of 70 pixels or 70%, is going to just cut across it and go straight to the edge of that container, taking 100 view height. If it's 50, let me see if I can give this 50 margin. Get rid of this margin, then okay, container margin. All right, so I really want to see okay, let me get rid of this third child. I want to explain something. I'll still bring all of these things back. Okay, still at the center anyways. There's a margin pushing it to that center. Okay, and then this one, I'm trying to explain this the best possible way. Okay, so where's the first child? The first child, I don't need to do this for the first child. All right, so I want to get this second child. I wanted to show you something with this second child. This second child, which is here, it has no margin, it has no, let me get rid of, let me show you the width now. Here, 50 view width is going to give you half. This is half of this browser. This 50 view width. If I say 100 view width, it's going to take 100 of this view width. 100. Is it clear now? If I get rid of this one as well in a bigger screen and I move it, this is still 100 of this view width. Take this out. This is 100 of this one, 100% of the browser itself, regardless of the parent container. So let me say I still get back to that container, I give it 70%. It will now start from here. Let me get rid of this button. I want it to start from the extreme. Okay, so this one has, the body has a default margin and padding. Let me take the body margin with 0 pixels and padding is 0 pixels, or just 0. All right, so this is 100, exactly 100 view width. If I take this and put it in a smaller screen, it's still 100 view width, regardless of the parent container. So that is how these things work. That's how basically view width and view height works. View height is just the opposite. Let me get these things back to normal. Okay, so let me still get rid of that extra margin that the body has. Margin of 0 pixels and padding of 0 pixels. Okay, let me get this back, and this is back. So this is what we have. This one now shows you 100 view. This is the third child. The third child. And I gave the third child a height of, not width in this case, but a height of 100 view height. View height is from this point to the end of the browser. From this point to the end of the browser is from the top of the browser to the end of the browser or bottom of the browser is the view height. While view width is from here to here, regardless of the size or width or height of the parent container. Hope that is clear enough. Alright, so we're going to go to REM and EM. So for the fourth and fifth child, let's use those ones to talk about. How many more minutes? I have 8 minutes more. So let's go to the fifth child. Let's talk about REM and EM. So I'm going to say font size, and I'd say 20. Just like we have 20 pixels, let's see how 20 pixels looks like. This is 20 pixels for the fifth child, right? Let's take this same 20 pixels and change it to 20 REM. Let me get rid of this. This is 20 REM. The REM gets its size from the browser, not from the container or the parent container, from the browser, the size of the browser. If it's a mobile screen, it will take the percentage you want from the screen. The default size of every browser font size, default font size of every browser is 16 pixels. This is default size of 16 pixels. This one is 16 pixels. Let me take this back and show you 16 pixels, so you know if you see any difference. You see there's no difference between this and this. That's the default font size of the browser. But when you now talk about REM, one REM is equal to one is equal to 16 pixels, if I put it like that. 2 REM is equal to 32 pixels. Do you get me? 3 REM is 3 times 16. 4 REM is 4 times 16. That's how REM works. So when you're talking about REM, you have to be very very conscious. So if I want to get a very small size of REM, I might say probably 1 REM. 1 REM is basically 16 pixels. And you see that there's no difference. 1 REM is equal to 16 pixels. That's it. The 2 REM is 32 pixels. This 32 pixels. Let me show you that it will also be the same thing with Box Child 6. Let me do this again and say this is the sixth child, which I believe I have. Do I? Okay, yes, I do. I have the sixth child. If you notice, this is in capital letter. The reason why it's in capital letter is because these ones are in capital letter. If I change it to small letter now, S, this would have to be reduced to small letter. So make sure that whatever you're doing, your what is it called, whether it's in capital letter or small letter, they really matter. The cases matter. So this is going to be 32 pixels. You see, this and this are the same size. So 1 REM is equal to 16 pixels. That's how to calculate it. So next one and the last one for font size is going to be EM. EM is, it gets its size from its parent container. It will take as the parent of this thing now is probably 90% of 70%. It won't be as big as this one. Let me check. Let me give this one, instead I'll give it 2 EM. Let's see the difference. Okay, it's the same thing with both EM and REM. No much difference. No much difference. But let's see if I reduce this width to 50%. Let me see how it's going to be. Okay, still the same thing. Alright. So that is it for units of measurement. So whenever you're using a font size or a pixel, a view height, view width, all of those things, be conscious of how they work. The reason why I'm teaching you is that it's not that I use it all the time. Most times I make use of just pixels and percentages. I rarely use REM, EM, view height and view width. But there are times when it's really important to have them, especially the view height. I think I tend to use it more often nowadays. So anyone that is convenient for you to use, it's your call. Just use it the way you can, explore it, just experiment with them and see the one that works best for you, and then you can continue with that. I think our time is almost up. We're supposed to talk about color representations, but we don't really have time for it, so I'm just going to like basically touch upon them just a little bit. Color representations are something we are already used to. Let me show them here. I don't want this. Let me show them here. There are basically different types of color representation. We can have a color of black. Black can also be written as hash 000, that's black. This is called a hexadecimal color representation. Then there's another one known as RGBA, which stands for red, green, blue. The A in the RGBA is alpha, meaning how transparent do you want your color to look like. Let me show you. This is color. This, let me say black. This and this are the same thing. This hexadecimal and the color name itself is the same thing. RGBA, if I click on this now, this is how it is. This is 555. This is for black as well, right? I don't actually have this one by heart, so I just had to click on it and it came out. So I don't have it by heart, but all of these things will give you the black color. This, the RGB representation, red, green, blue, that's how it's represented. This one is hexadecimal because of the hash in front of it, and is represented in numbers. This one is represented with alphabets, right? Then if I add A here and I come to this point and say I want this thing to be a bit transparent, and RGBA runs from 0.1, it runs from 0 to 1 rather. So you have 0, 0 0.1, 0.2 down to 1. So if I say I want it to be very transparent, I can say 0.4, and then let me take these ones out. You see how the text is faded? It's not as dark as this one. If I get rid of this RGBA and get rid of this now, it's back to its black color. But if I take it back and say I want it to be faded, if I put 1 there, 1, it's back to being as this RGB. The A alpha manages the opacity. Opacity is basically how transparent something is, or how yes, how transparent is it? Can you see through it? Is it faded? Is it very, bold and all of that? So that's how this one works. This is how it works. Let me see if I can do this 100%. Say 40%. Okay, so this percentages is just like 0.4, because this is 40 over 100, which is just basically 0.4. So you can either write it in percentages or you write them in 0 points, which is definitely the same thing. Is that clear? So far, do you have any questions? Because that's basically it. Other things that I wanted to cover, you guys already know about them. It's text formatting, color, text align, text decoration, letter space. All of these things are things that we've used in class. So the reason why I wanted to touch upon these ones is that most times you might see me, use this SI unit or use something else, percentage, pixels. I just wanted to clarify so that everything will be clear. So this is actually all there is to it. So continue your assignments and get your projects ready, and once you're done with it, we'll host it on Netlify, where you can share the links to people and they'll be able to view your site. And once you're done, you can also implement the responsive design, so that when it's on a mobile screen, it will be nice and it won't look weird. When it's on a tablet, it will look like it's made for the tablet, and also when it's on a web browser like your laptop, it also looks very neat and organized. So that will be it. Have a great day. If we're going to have a class on Friday, I'll let you guys know before then. All right. Have it. All right then. Bye.